What if I told you that being left wasn't your downfall, but your greatest opportunity to rise? She walked away. Maybe she said you weren't enough, or maybe she didn't say anything at all. But here you are, hurting, questioning yourself, wondering what you did wrong. And here's the truth. The pain you feel right now can become a prison or a forge. You can let it break you down or use it to become someone she can no longer ignore. Someone you respect when you look in the mirror. Rejection doesn't define you, your response to it does. This moment is a turning point. Will you spiral into self-pity, or will you rise from the ashes and build a version of yourself so solid and magnetic that you'll have no choice but to feel the loss? If you're ready to take the first real step toward that version of you, hit like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I control my emotions, not the world. Let's begin. Number 1. Letting go isn't weakness, it's where power begins. Right now, you may still hold on to the fantasy that one day she'll realize what she lost and return. Maybe if you do enough, grow enough, or say the right words, she'll return, apologize, and everything will fix itself. But here's the truth. She's not coming back. And that's not something to fear. It's something to accept and embrace. Because the moment you stop waiting for her return is when you begin returning to yourself. Stoicism teaches us that our resistance to suffering is not caused by events, but by events. You're not suffering because she left. You're suffering because you're still hoping for something no longer in your control. Every ounce of your energy spent replaying the past, wondering what went wrong or wishing things had turned out differently, is energy wasted on illusions. You are living in a loop, and that loop keeps her powerful and keeps you. Letting go is not surrender. Letting go is the most profound act of self-respect you can take. It's the first real step toward reclaiming control over your life. It's standing before the truth and saying, I no longer give you power over my peace. That's not a weakness, that's courage. And when you finally stop resisting reality and accept it as it is, something remarkable happens. You begin to feel free again. You start focusing on what you can control, your discipline, actions, and mindset. You go to the gym, not to impress her, but to rebuild yourself. You wake up early, chase your goals, stay quiet, and let your growth do the talking. And slowly, your identity detaches from the past and anchors itself in the man you're becoming, not the man left behind. As you embrace the pain instead of running from it, you begin to see it for what it really is. A teacher. A forge, a mirror. It's showing you where you were giving away your power, and now, every step you take away from her is a step towards something greater, your sovereignty. She may one day look back and regret it, she may not. But that's not your story anymore. Your story isn't about proving your worth to her, it's about discovering it for yourself. And once you do, you'll realize she didn't leave you behind. You outgrew her. Let go, not to make her miss you, but to become someone even you wouldn't want to lose again. Now speak out and comment below. I choose freedom over fantasy. Number 2. Real revenge is calm. Let her fear your silence. After a breakup, the instinct to retaliate is almost primal. You want to prove that she was wrong to walk away. You want her to see your pain so she can feel it too. Maybe you fantasize about calling her out, making her jealous, or showing off how well you're doing. But all of that, it's noise. It's a reaction, and the reaction is exactly what she expects. What she fears is not your rage, it's your restraint. Because real power doesn't make a sound. When you remain calm, focused, and silent in the face of emotional chaos, you do something very few men are capable of. You deny her access to your inner world. You show her, not through words but through absence, that she no longer controls your mind. That is true emotional dominance. She may post pictures, hint at happiness, or try to trigger jealousy or curiosity, but when you offer nothing in return, you become unreadable. And the unreadable man is the one she fears the most. The Stoics understood that the greatest victory is mastery over the self. They did not see control as suppression but as alignment, where fleeting emotions no longer dictate thought and action. You are not suppressing the pain, you are not avoiding it, you are disciplining it. You are using it as fuel, not fire. Because in the end, revenge that burns hot dies fast, but revenge that comes from stillness, that lasts forever. Your silence is not just about staying quiet. It's about investing that emotional energy into your body, goals, and purpose. It's training, building, evolving. Not because she's watching, but because you've stopped needing her too. That transformation, the one that happens in solitude, is the most terrifying thing she could ever witness. Why? Because it means she no longer matters. Not because you hate her, but because you've transcended the version of yourself you once did. And when she reaches out, when curiosity gets the better of her, when she senses you've gone beyond her reach, your silence will echo louder than any words you could have spoken. She'll ask herself, how did he change so fast? Why doesn't he care anymore? But by then, you won't need to answer. Your growth will speak for itself. And she'll be left with the question that silence always plants. Did I lose someone irreplaceable? Let others scream for attention. You'll be the one they never see coming. Now, speak out and comment below. My silence is strength. My growth is the response. Number 3. Cut the cord. Silence is your healing ground. You've probably heard it said 100 times, go, no contact. But too often, that advice is misunderstood. Men think of it as a strategy to get her back, a way to make her miss you, stir regret, or test her emotions. But that mindset still centers around her, and as long as you do anything with her in mind, you haven't truly let go. True, no contact isn't about manipulating someone else, but liberating yourself. Cutting off all communication, texts, social media, mutual friends, even mental storytelling isn't cruel, it's necessary. You're reopening a wound trying to heal every time you re-engage, even just by checking her Instagram or rereading old conversations. You might think it's harmless, but those small moments of connection keep the pain alive. They anchor your identity to someone who is no longer present. And worse, they prevent you from anchoring into yourself. Stoic wisdom reminds us to turn inward. What's outside of us, her actions, her choices, her new relationship, is beyond our control. But what do we choose to focus on? How do we respond? And where do we invest our time and energy? That's ours. And when you establish no contact, not out of anger but out of clarity, you're drawing a boundary that says, I matter more than my past. It's not easy. There will be moments when you're tempted to check in and when nostalgia hits hard. But here's the truth. Every time you resist, you reinforce your strength. Every day of silence is a vote for your future self. You're not ghosting her. You're giving yourself the space to hear your own voice again. And in that silence, healing becomes possible. You can finally listen to what you need without the noise of her world. You'll begin to feel the pull of purpose again. Maybe you'll pick up habits you dropped, rekindle forgotten passions, or start building new routines. Most importantly, you'll realize that the pain doesn't stay forever, but the strength you build during this season will. And here's the twist. When you fully commit to no contact and focus solely on yourself, she might reach out. She might test the silence, try to re-enter your world just to see if she still holds influence. But by then, you won't be checking your phone. You'll be too busy creating a life so full and grounded that the version of you who needed her no longer exists. No contact is not about punishment, it's about peace. It's your first real move toward becoming untouchable, not because you hide, but because you grow beyond reach. Now, speak out and comment below. My silence protects my healing. Number 4. You were always the prize. She just forgot. There's a moment after a breakup where self-worth feels shattered. You think, if she left, I must not have been enough. You replay every conversation, every mistake, trying to pinpoint where it all fell apart. But that mindset itself is the problem. Because the truth is, she didn't leave because you weren't worthy. She left because you stopped seeing your own value, and she simply followed your lead. You put her first. You made her the center of your world. You placed her above your goals, your identity, and your purpose. And when you do that, the natural imbalance begins. She didn't fall for a man who revolved around her. She fell for a man who had his own gravity, his own path, vision, and drive. The attraction began to fade when you shifted from being grounded in yourself to orbiting her. That's the harsh truth. But here's the empowering part. Your value never disappeared. It just got buried beneath attachment, emotion, and dependence. And now, you can reclaim it, not for her, but for you, because you were always the prize. You were always the one who could lead, build, and elevate. You just forgot it when you made her your mission instead of being committed to your own. The Stoics remind us that value comes from within. It's not something you prove to others. It's something you recognize and live out quietly and consistently. The man who understands his worth doesn't need to say a word. His presence speaks for him. And when you act like you matter, when you prioritize your health, craft, and discipline, the world responds accordingly. So does she. If she starts to look back and begins to feel the loss, it won't be because you chased her. It'll be because you became unreachable in the best way possible. Not because you disappeared, but because you ascended. Because you returned to the man she met in the beginning, the one who didn't need her validation and lived with quiet conviction. Only now, you've become even stronger, wiser, sharper. You don't win her back by convincing her. You don't reclaim your worth by pleading. You rise by removing her from the equation entirely and making yourself the standard. And when that happens, she will feel it. Even if she never says a word, she'll sense the shift. She'll remember who you were and see who you've become. But by then, her recognition will be irrelevant because you've already recognized it within yourself. You are the reward. You were from the start. The only difference now, you finally believe it. Now, speak out and comment below. I was always the prize. I just stopped forgetting it. Number 5. Use the pain, let it forge a stronger you. The pain is real. The weight of being left behind, of feeling discarded, hits harder than you expected. It lingers in quiet moments, echoing through memories and regrets. But here's what separates those who rise from those who remain broken: what they choose to do with the pain. Because pain isn't just a burden, it's also raw, untamed energy. And energy can be channeled. Right now, you have two options. You can let the pain consume you, drown in the questions, stalk her socials, fantasize about reconciliation. Or you can decide right now that this pain will become your fuel, that every ache in your chest will push you one rep further in the gym, that every wave of loneliness will become a reason to grind harder, focus deeper, and elevate higher. You don't run from the hurt, you turn it into motion. The Stoics were clear on this. Pain is not the enemy. What matters is how we respond. They believed adversity was the perfect environment for growth, discipline, and mind sharpening. So ask yourself, who do you want to be at the end of this story? The man who let heartbreak define him? Because when you finally stop chasing her and start chasing your higher self, everything changes. You'll notice a shift, not just in your routine, but in your mindset. You'll go from needing her to validate you to being proud of the man you're becoming. And that pride? It isn't loud or flashy. It's quiet, unshakable, and deeply rooted in what you've endured and built from the ashes. You may not feel strong now. That's okay. Strength isn't loud in the beginning. Sometimes it's just waking up and not reaching out. Sometimes it's dragging yourself to the gym when your heart isn't in it. Sometimes it's sitting with the pain and saying, "You don't control me anymore." And with each of those choices, you begin forging a man she wouldn't even recognize now. One who doesn't beg, who doesn't need to be chosen, because he already chose himself. And here's the twist. The more you grow, the less you care whether she sees it or not. You stop needing her to regret anything, because your transformation becomes about something much bigger than her. It becomes about who you can become. So don't waste this pain. Use it. Let it mold you, sharpen you, drive you, because the man on the other side of this heartbreak, he's unstoppable. Now, speak out and comment below. I turn pain into power. Nothing breaks me. Number 6. She misses who you were, but you've outgrown him. At some point, she will think back. Maybe it's late at night, during a quiet moment in her new relationship, or when she hears a song or sees a photo that reminds her of you. But when she misses you, what she's really missing is the version of you she once had access to, not the man you've become. She doesn't miss your weakness. She doesn't miss the version of you that begged, that lost himself trying to keep her. No, she misses the version of you before that, the one who was confident, mysterious, and focused. The one who had a life before she became the center of it. But here's the truth. That man no longer exists, because the pain she left you with didn't break you. It built someone entirely new. You didn't just bounce back, you evolved. You sharpened your body, your mind, your mission. You stopped looking over your shoulder, stopped checking her social media, and stopped needing her to acknowledge your growth. You became dangerous again, not because of aggression or bitterness, but because of clarity. You now walk in alignment with who you're meant to be. That's what makes you magnetic again. And yes, she'll feel it, even from a distance. She'll notice you're no longer trying to be seen. She'll notice you're not reacting, not proving, not playing the emotional tug of war. And that silence, that transformation, it haunts her. She starts to wonder, did I make a mistake? Did I lose something irreplaceable? But the reality is, she didn't lose the man she knew, she lost the man he became. Stoicism teaches that we must not cling to the past, not to people, our former selves, or outdated identities. You're not here to reclaim what once was, you're here to become what you've never been before. That mindset separates men who stay broken from men who become unbreakable. You don't need her to validate your progress, and you certainly don't need to shrink yourself to fit back into the box she put you in. She knew a chapter of your story, not the whole book. And now that the book has evolved, it no longer includes her. She may miss who you were, but you've outgrown that man. And her too. Now, speak out and comment below. I outgrew the man she remembers. I became who I was meant to be. Number 7. Don't fill the void. Redefine yourself instead. After heartbreak, the most tempting thing to do is find someone new, someone to text, talk to, and distract you from the gaping void she left behind. But here's the truth that most men don't realize until it's too late. Replacing her won't heal you. It might numb the pain for a while, but won't solve the deeper wound. Because the issue isn't her absence. You built your identity around her presence. You don't need someone new to validate your worth. You must rebuild your version of yourself, which never requires external validation. That man still exists. He's buried beneath the noise, the loneliness, the longing. But he's there, and now is the time to resurrect him, not by chasing someone else, but by committing to your own transformation. Stoic philosophy teaches that the essence of a strong man is his ability to belong to himself, not to a woman, not to a fantasy, not to an outcome. You become unshakable when you stop searching for the next and focus on your inner foundations, your character, your mission, your discipline. And when you do that, you stop being someone who needs love to feel whole. You become a man who brings wholeness wherever he goes. It's not that love is the enemy, it's that love without identity is dangerous. You gave her too much power, not because she asked for it, but because you forgot who you were without her. You became reactive, soft, available. The man she first admired was grounded in his purpose. That's what made him attractive, and that's who you need to find again. Not through another woman, but through relentless self-inquiry and action. Start with silence. Sit with the discomfort. Let the absence echo, but don't rush to fill it. Let it carve out space within you, where something stronger can grow. Dive into work, into your body, into the books you've been meaning to read, into the business you've avoided starting. into the man you were always meant to become. When you define yourself by your actions, mindset and values, not by someone's approval, you become rare, and rare is attractive. But more importantly, rare is free. Let her go, not so you can replace her, but so you can become someone even she could never reach again. Now, speak out and comment below. I don't replace, I rebuild. Number 8. Emotional detachment is not coldness, it's clarity. You've probably been told that letting go means becoming cold, distant, or even heartless. To move on, you must erase all feelings. But that's a misconception, and a dangerous one. Emotional detachment isn't about becoming numb, it's about becoming free. It's not the absence of love or feeling, it's the absence of dependency. It's loving without clinging, remembering without aching, and letting go without bitterness. When she left, your world didn't end. It just cracked open a deeper truth, that for too long your emotional peace was dependent on her presence. Every mood swing, every unanswered message, every decision she made shook you. That's not love, that's bondage. And now you're learning the art of stoic detachment, a state where your inner world remains steady, no matter what happens outside it. Stoicism doesn't teach you to stop feeling, it teaches you to stop being ruled by your feelings. You can still care about someone and not let them control your state of mind. You can still remember the good times and not let them dictate your future. Detachment is the highest form of strength, not because it makes you indifferent, but because it returns authority to your own hands. Right now, whenever you resist the urge to text her, check her profile, or chase closure, you win. You reclaim a piece of your mind, your time, your self-respect. And over time, those wins build something powerful. Peace. Not the shallow peace of distraction or rebound, but the deep, unshakable peace of self-mastery. And what's ironic is this: the more you let go, the more magnetic you become. When she senses that her actions no longer define your emotions, when she realizes you're no longer watching or waiting, she'll start to wonder, has he moved on? Did I lose him for good? But by then it won't matter, because you're not detaching to make her chase. You're detaching because you've remembered who you are without her. This level of calm cannot be faked. It is earned through discomfort, through discipline, through reflection. And it leads to something most men never achieve: freedom from emotional volatility. From now on, your peace doesn't get handed out like a prize, it's reserved for those who deserve it. And that person is you right now. So don't run from detachment, embrace it. Let it be your strength, not your shield, because when you become a man who can feel deeply without losing himself, you become unshakable. Now, speak out and comment below. I choose clarity over chaos. I lead my emotions. Number 9. Her regret is not your victory, your growth is. One of the most seductive fantasies after a breakup is imagining her regretting everything. That one day she'll see your progress, realize what she lost, and feel the weight of that decision crush her from the inside. But here's the hard truth: if your healing depends on her regret, you're not free. You're still chained to her. Real growth isn't about proving something to her, it's about never needing to prove anything to anyone again. Stoicism teaches us that we must detach from external outcomes. Her apology, her remorse, her return, none of that is under your control. What is in your control? Your reaction, your evolution, your peace. You don't train harder, build stronger, or rise higher just to make her miss you. You do it because you've finally started choosing yourself over the illusion of being chosen by someone else. The problem is that too many men approach growth with revenge in mind. They go to the gym, start a business, or show off their new lifestyle, hoping she'll notice. But deep down, they're still performing for an audience of one. And you haven't truly broken free as long as she's still in the back of your mind, clapping or criticizing. You're not building, you're still begging, just in a more subtle way. But when you finally stop caring whether she ever sees you again, that's when the shift happens. That's when every action becomes yours, not hers. You lift because it makes you stronger. You read because it sharpens your mind. You grow because you owe it to yourself, not because you want to appear better off. You're not trying to win her back. You're trying never to lose yourself again. And yes, maybe one day she will feel that regret. She'll hear your name, see your photo, or stumble across your success and realize she walked away from something rare. But by then, you won't need her to feel it, because your validation no longer comes from her eyes. It comes from your own. You won't look over your shoulder to check if she's watching. You'll be too focused on where you're going to care who's watching at all. Let her regret, or let her forget. It makes no difference to a free man. Your journey now is sacred, not because it impresses anyone else, but because it finally aligns with the truth you always buried beneath attachment. You were the prize all along. So stop wondering if she regrets it. Start becoming someone who doesn't care either way. Now, speak out and comment below. Regret isn't my goal. My evolution is. Number 10. She left too soon. Now you're becoming unstoppable. There's a cruel irony in heartbreak. She left before you became the man she always wanted, before your mindset shifted, before your discipline hardened, before you learned to stand fully on your own. She left you when you were still wrapped in emotion, unsure and searching. But that departure? It was the catalyst. And now, in the quiet pain and grind, you're becoming untouchable. She thought she was walking away from a man at his peak, but the truth is, she walked away from a man who was still in process. And what she didn't realize is that pain, real, soul-deep pain, either breaks you or builds you. And you made a decision. You wouldn't let it break you. You would let it mold you into something no one, including her, could have predicted. Every day you stay silent. Every day you choose growth over reaction. Every time you reject the temptation to reach out or show her what she's missing. You're building something permanent. Not just a new body, not just a new routine, but a new identity. One rooted in self-respect, in purpose, in power. The man who was once desperate for her approval now walks in the world unbothered, undistracted, and undeniably rare. Stoic philosophy doesn't promise that we'll never feel pain. It teaches us how to use pain wisely, walk through the storm, and come out with something more valuable than comfort, inner freedom. And that's what you've gained. You no longer look to the past for answers. You no longer define yourself by her decision, because who you are now, he doesn't need closure. He doesn't need revenge. He doesn't even need recognition. And if she ever sees you again, if she crosses paths with this new version of you, she won't know how to respond. Not because you've changed physically, but because your energy will no longer need her. You'll be a man who has moved so far past her emotionally that even her best efforts can't reach you. And that's not arrogance. That's arrival. You didn't become this man to win her back. You became him because you were meant to. And her departure was just the unexpected blessing that forced you to begin the transformation. She left too early. She gave up too soon. And now, she's missing a future that wasn't meant for her anyway. You're no longer the man she left. You're the man she could never handle. Now, speak out and comment below. I didn't lose her. She lost the man I was becoming. You came here thinking the story ended when she let you go, but now you see, that was just the prologue. She didn't destroy you. She revealed your next mission. And in the process, you discovered a truth far more powerful than any apology or closure. Your power never left. You just forgot how to use it. If you're ready to stay on this path of transformation, like this video, subscribe and comment. I am unstoppable. Stay focused, keep rising. The future doesn't wait for anyone, especially not the man you used to be.